anybody who knows anything about Brie Larson and who she really is and what she really stands for, who know all of that from an objective standpoint instead of just blind fan adoration, knows that she really, really wants to be the savior of minorities. She wants to be the queenest of queens. She wants to be the lady that they all look up to and say, thank you. Thank you, Brie Larson, for saving us. Thank you for giving us the representation that we aren't good enough to get ourselves. Thank you so much, Brie, for being our white savior. That is really, at the bottom line of it, that is kind of her ideology. We've seen this before in so many different things where she's like, I have this amazing platform now, and I will use it to help all of you minority groups that aren't good enough to lift yourselves up on your own. You need me to help you. That is pretty much what she said in some of her interviews, and it's really, really cringy and really, really bad. Really, it's a disservice to these minority groups. But we are kind of seeing where some of this might have stemmed from. So, Brie Larson was in this movie that came out a few years ago called Basmati Blues. And it is a film where she plays a white female person who goes to India and basically apparently is kind of like a white savior to Indians. So, I'm not going to really speak too much about it. I'm going to kind of talk about it from this article. This is like an Indian article. So we're going to kind of hear what they have to say about this film. This is, okay, so, I'm not going to speak about it too much because obviously, I'm just a white dude. I'm just kind of over here in America doing my own thing, but I do want to hear what these people have to say about it. So this is from Rohan Nahar. Basmati Blues movie review. You won't believe how racist and insulting Brie Larson's film is. Now, it's interesting. It's interesting how this didn't get very much coverage over here in the U.S. And even now, when this is finally starting to actually get exposed more and more to people here in America, the mainstream media still isn't picking up on it. They're being hush-hush about it. I wonder why. Could it be because Brie Larson is, in fact, the queenest of queens, according to these mainstream media people and the SJWs? Maybe. Basmati Blues movie review. Everyone involved, including star Brie Larson, should be ashamed of this offensive, racist, and tone-deaf disaster. There's a scene in Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill in which David Carradine Bill does what so many actors in Tarantino's movies tend to do. He delivers a speech. The recipient of this speech is his nemesis, Uma Thurman's bride, tied to a chair, beaten and bloody. The stage is the living room of a rather large house. Superman didn't become Superman. Superman was born Superman. When Superman wakes up in the morning, he's Superman, Bill says, surprising just about everyone with his choice of topic. Bill's thesis suggests that the blue suit with the big red S emblazoned on it isn't Superman's costume. Those are the clothes of his people. The costume, the suit, the glasses is what he chooses to wear to blend in with us. Clark Kent, Bill says, is how Superman views us. And what are the characteristics of Clark Kent? He's weak, he's unsure of himself, he's a coward. Clark Kent is Superman's critique on the whole human race. There's a point to this story, promise. To someone who doesn't belong to a certain place, the idiosyncrasies and eccentricities of these people are open to interpretation. That is why racial and cultural stereotypes exist. They're usually propagated by people who have either not had first-hand experiences dealing with foreigners, or even if they have been too close-minded to appreciate the uniqueness of others. Basmati Blues is a film made by people who could belong to either category, and since it's frankly unbelievable that a person could be familiar with India and its people and still choose to make a film like this, what's more likely is that debutant director Dan Barron's entire research for this movie comprised of watching old cartoons and listening far too intently to one of his racist uncle's stories. Yikes. If this is how clueless foreigners perceive us, head-bobbing, monkey-eating, rags-wearing buffoons, then we've just been critiqued like the Earthlings in Tarantino's reading of Superman. Yikes. That is a big yikes. Not 2 minutes have passed since Brie Larson's arrival in India. Less than 24 hours after declaring that she doesn't even have a passport, mind you, and she has already stepped in poop, befriended a goat, and observed Dilip Tahil eat rice off a banana leaf. That's bad. She has also met a man named William J. Patel, a name that any Indian can tell you. While theoretically possible in the same way that Donald Obama is theoretically possible, is a hard one to come across. Let's see. I'm trying to see where's the juicy stuff here. Where's the juicy stuff? Clearly, the ignorance of several people is responsible for how Basmati Blues turned out, and we haven't even begun to talk about the actual filmmaking, which involves cheap green screen, hastily shot filler material, and song and dance numbers straight out of an 80s Bollywood movie. That last bit is not a compliment before Baron takes it as one. After the first trailer came out and was subsequently and rightly slammed for it, as it turns out accurately representing this movie, a Vulture article attempted to understand how a film like this could actually get made in today's cultural climate. Wow. Among its many crimes, it also reintroduces that rather outdated white savior trope that we thought we'd abolished by now. And of course, the story behind it is just as harebrained as the final product. You should read it. Baron began shooting in 2012, a fact evidenced by Brie Larson's use of a BlackBerry in some scenes, but could only finish 5 years later. It's easy to imagine that Larson, whose star has significantly risen since 2012, she's won an Oscar and has signed on to play a Marvel superhero in the meantime, attempted to bury Basmati Blues. Yep, and that's exactly what's happening. So basically what's happening is Brie Larson knows that this movie is out there. She knows that this movie is a thing, but she is trying to be as woke as possible, trying to virtue signal as much as possible to hide the fact that this movie is a thing. This is what SJWs do. I'm telling you, SJWs are some of the most racist, sexist people out there, but they conceal it. They bury it under their virtue signaling, and they're screaming at other people and calling them racist and sexist when in fact they are the racists and sexists. So this is exactly what SJWs do. This is what Brie Larson is doing here in this situation as well. Enough actors have done this in the past, most recently. Okay, so let's just continue on here. Okay, so I guess that's the end of the article, actually. Wherever the truth may lie, it's quite clear that this isn't the loving homage to Bollywood musicals that was originally intended. It isn't a takedown on global capitalism and the corrupt food industry, and it most certainly isn't a celebration of India. Holy crap. So this guy completely destroys this movie, which is good. That's good. I'm curious. I want to see if I can find this on Rotten Tomatoes now and see what Rotten Tomatoes has to say about this movie. So, let's see, Basmati Blues. Let's see if it pulls up here. Okay. So, 11%. 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's only one positive review. If I'm not mistaken. There is indeed, it looks like, only one. There's two positive reviews. Okay, so there's 3 positive reviews, it looks like, out of how many? Like 27 or something. So Basmati Blues is the kind of easily forgiven early career movie that is best released on home video and forgotten. And this is obviously from some I don't know, like Basmati Blues is one of those movies that isn't terrible but still leaves you wondering why it exists. And these are all just white dudes saying this and stuff. Like, I'm like, is this the guy? Yeah, this is the guy that actually did that article that we just read. Yes, as an Indian critic, I can confirm that Brie Larson's film is unbelievably and insultingly racist. Man. So, who are you going to believe? The people actually from the culture that this movie is apparently representing, or the white American, privileged Americans who go over to India or whatever, film a movie about a white savior who basically shows up and tries to help all the people, steps in poop, eats rice off of banana leaves, befriends a goat. What on earth is happening right now? Oh my gosh. And like I said, this is exactly what's happening. Brie Larson knows that this movie is out there, but she is trying to hide it by virtue signaling. That is exactly what these people do. So it's baffling to me. It's actually just baffling to me. But anyway, let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this? What do you think about this whole situation with this movie? I think it's hilarious. I think it's so ironic that Brie Larson, who has been preaching for so long that she is an advocate for minorities, that it just goes to show that that's exactly what she thinks, even in this movie and stuff. Like, she thinks that she is better than the minorities, and she is the only one that can help save the minorities, and that's exactly what her mindset is, and it shows even more in this film. But she knows that this movie is a racist movie, which is why she is trying to bury it and hide it beneath her virtue signaling. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this interesting news? What do you think about this juicy bit of details that have risen to the surface about Basmati Blues? Let me know in the comments below what you think, and I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye.
With my heart's desire.